type of numbers put up by both teams very even. The only difference is one of them's a Big Ten team and one of them I didn't even really know existed. So it's definitely, it's a big loss for Minnesota.
They have a good hockey program, David.
Well, they do, but I mean, my knowledge of college hockey is a little faulty being that this is a football show, Alex. But needless to say, Minnesota losing this game hurts the Big Ten, makes them look as like a non-threat in the Big Ten this year. I wouldn't see them pulling any upsets.
Yeah, I mean, it's Minnesota. They're cute and cuddly, but they're still Minnesota. Now let's move on. This is going to be the most fun segment of the show. Let's discuss Michigan State and Florida Atlantic. Let's first discuss some fashion. I know this is not an entertainment show. Just look at Michigan State's jerseys, will you please? What is going on here? Certainly the all-green ones, that's pretty traditional. But the white shoulders you see on Greg Jones there on the left, that's an alternate home uniform, along with this is what they wore at Ford Field, Scott. I mean, this just screams lack of tradition. They've changed our helmets 6 times in our lifetimes.
Yeah, I mean, the helmet's the weirdest thing. They've got that huge stripe going down the middle. It's Nike's playing this game. They have all these pro combat jerseys coming in. Michigan State's not one of them, but still Nike's trying to play around with them. So that is one of the great things about Michigan is we do have this fantastic tradition with our uniforms. Not quite the same for Michigan State. So some people may think it's new, it's cutting edge. I'm not as big of a fan.
And of course, this is after the whole controversy about the logo, which
this is a toned down version of the uniform.
Right, this is toned down. I can only imagine what the untoned down version was. And of course, David, 36,000 fans in attendance. It's a home game for Florida Atlantic. Their stadium wasn't ready to have a game yet. They're building a new stadium. I mean,
it's pitiful.
How pitiful is that?
It's terrible.
Right?
I mean, if you're Michigan State and you're playing 90 miles away from campus, you have to bring in more than 36,000 fans. I realize your students aren't probably going to make that trip. I realize that they didn't have season ticket holders getting into that game, but have some tradition, have some fans, get people to the game. I mean, it didn't even look like 36,000 people were really there.
Right, and that's what the unbiased AP report, which is supposed to be non-editorial, said there's no way there were 36,000 people there, even though that's what they announced. I mean, it's just a sad story. I don't know why you have to schedule a home-and-home with FAU. I mean, it just shows you how pitiful Michigan State is. I can't wait for the YouTube comments.
No Big Brother bias there, by the way.
No, come on. What other BCS school has to go through that and be? I mean, that's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's unfortunate too, because it's not their fault that FAU didn't finish their stadium. Mm-hmm. Ticket prices were like the cheapest ticket you could get was $50.
Yeah.
So it is excusable.
And there were no season ticket holders to come in and fill the stadium up. But still, the stadium was very empty if you were watching it on TV.
Right. And then this upcoming week, it's Big Ten against Arizona. You have Iowa at Arizona and Arizona State at Wisconsin. David, is there anything to look for in that Arizona State at Wisconsin game?
Only if Stephen Threet can pull some more Stephen Threet magic, have one of those 58-yard scampers like he did in the Big House against Wisconsin 2 years ago. But other than that, if you look at his stats from that game, they were absolutely terrible, and you wouldn't know how Michigan actually won that game. So, I mean, Arizona State, I don't give them much of a chance. Wisconsin's the best team in the Big Ten.
Ooh. Best team in the Big Ten. Slips that right in there. Hopefully you don't notice. That's an interesting take. Now that we've finished bashing Michigan State, let's begin to bash the Atlantic Coast Conference. Are they even a conference anymore? I mean, this is just pitiful. Let's start with Florida State. Florida State goes to Norman. They're not going to win at Norman. Oklahoma hasn't lost in Norman in at least 3 years, I think it was. They have the longest active home streak in the country. Florida State's not going to win. This is not the Florida State of old, okay? They just got steamrolled. It wasn't even close. Was the final score 44-7?
47-17.
47-17, okay.
30 points is a lot of points against Florida State.
Right. I mean, that's just sad. Okay, all right, you know what? Just one game, not a big deal. Oh, but you have Ohio State beating Miami, too. All right, just one game. You know, Ohio State's a good team. They are. Oklahoma could be a good team, too. How about Kansas beating Georgia Tech, guys? I mean, this is the Kansas team
who lost to South Dakota State 6-3 last weekend
at home. Not the same South Dakota that beat Minnesota. Yeah. We have to be clear. They're separate teams. And then the big one, James Madison defeating Virginia Tech this past weekend. On the way to South Bend, we drove by a James Madison bus. Their soccer team must have been a mistake for some reason of Michigan, but their football team was making their presence known in Blacksburg. Do you have any words to describe how bad the ACC is, David?
I feel bad for Chris Peterson. I really, truly feel bad for that man. He gets a great win on Monday night, and then Virginia Tech just comes in and screws it up.
Of course, Boise State's head coach.
Yes, and it's terrible. I mean, those kids at Boise State thought they had a legitimate shot at getting into the national title game. Virginia Tech blows it for them. I'm sorry, the ACC is just not a good conference.
I mean, I've been on the ACC as terrible bandwagon for a long time. But just something to point out, this is a cautionary tale for all of these expansion conferences going on right now. That the ACC wanted to expand. They thought they were going to be a fantastic football conference after this happened. It's not working out for them for whatever reason. Maybe it's the geography of it all. Who knows what it is? But the ACC consistently, year in and year out, has all these teams who you think are going to be good, always 3 or 4 losses. It's inexplicable, but it's a cautionary tale for the expansion folks.
Yeah, well, it's difficult for them to expand eastward.
I don't
That
think
is
they can.
true.
I think
That
they're
is
It's a
true.
geographic issue.
Yeah.
Maybe Bermuda will.
Well, Notre Dame's playing that game in Dublin, Ireland in a few years, so
Oh, that's right.
who knows?
This is
and
true.
the Pac-10 wants to go into Asia, so maybe they can go eastward. It'd be a little unusual, but who knows?
The University of Beijing will be the 13th team in the Pac-10, which now has 12 teams. Anyway, let's move on to just the best segment ever. It's called Tracking the Transfers. Now that all the defectors have defected fully and have set out their year, they're now actually playing. And with things going well for Michigan, it's more comical now, maybe more sad later in the year, we'll have to see. Take a look at these numbers, of course, against the normal tomato cans, with the exception of Rice, which is a tomato can, playing a tomato can, so I don't know how that works exactly. But Sam McGuffey, 14 carries, 18 yards, that's typical Sam McGuffey, but 4 catches, 91 yards for a touchdown. Why is he not a slot receiver? No one will ever know. Stephen Threet, you ever think Stephen Threet was going to throw for 391 yards? I mean,
not
playing
in a
for the
Michigan
Colts,
uniform.
even. I mean, right. And then, of course, Ryan Mallett, we know he's been tearing stuff up at Arkansas for a long time. But when you look at these numbers, Tony Clemens is also there. I'll make a disparaging comment about Tony Clemens after the show to close friends only. The way he tore apart Prasad in that Free Press piece. But when you look, Scott, at all these, that's a lot of talent right there. It's 2 4-stars, a 5-star, and I don't know what Tony Clemens was, but isn't it more impressive that Michigan is even a program?
Yeah, well, and of
Losing all
course,
that talent?
5-star Justin Bourne playing for The Ohio State University right now as well.
We purposely didn't mention him. But
Well, I'll go ahead and throw it out there anyways. That is a 5-star, also gone. It's incredible. It's been a sobering tale. Lots of big-name transfers the past couple years. So, hey, maybe Michigan has a chance to say, hey, we can forget about them. We have Denard Robinson. We have a defense starting to turn around. But that's a lot of talent not in Michigan uniforms right now.
all right, well, running out of time, guys, so we have to move on to another tomato can. UMass, Michigan's first of the year, though. That comes in week 3. David, we'll start with you quickly. What do you want to see out of this Michigan team? We're assuming a victory here.
I want to see Denard Robinson out by the end of the first quarter. I want to see what Devin Gardner has. If Denard Robinson goes down, you want to know what quarterback you're putting in. I think Tate Forcier can win them games. I don't know if Devin Gardner can, so I want to see what Devin Gardner can do.
What about Tate Forcier, Scott?
I'd like to see Tate Forcier play. Devin Gardner's already burned his red shirt. I can't go back in time and have Tate play those 3 snaps so far. I'd like to see Tate Forcier. I think he still has something to offer the team as a backup quarterback, as long as he has his head screwed on straight.
Well, that is the question. We'll find out next week. We'll be hopefully talking about a big Michigan win, and at 3-0, maybe a ranking even higher than 20th. We'll see you next week on Varsity Blue.